So we've talked about a lot of like do's, but what about some don'ts? What are some things that from your experience and your customers' experience that brands should be avoiding as they approach this new type of e-commerce?
It kind of varies a little bit for every brand. At the highest level, I would, establish your first principles of your creator program. There should be a lot of trust and alignment there. And generally I would say focus on longer term partnerships. I think if you can do those three things, it's kind of hard to screw up very badly. If there's a lot of alignment and, incentives and kind of trust and all those things, it's hard to do a bad job. I would say tactically where brands screw up, there's probably one or two main places. You can go to an influencer conference and, some people will be talking about the incredibly detailed briefs they put together. But I think the predominant sentiment in the industry is that, there's a reason why you're marketing through creators and not through your owned and operated pages. And that's because they understand their audiences better than you do. Typically speaking, whether it's picking products for people or telling them exactly what to make of their content, like kind of less is a little bit more. And you want the creator to curate their own content and their own products and all those things that fit their audience really, really well, and kind of take your hands off the reins a little bit. So I'd say that's kind of one, more common prevailing concept that I see.
Yeah.
The other one is you need to figure out what your creator model is going to be, do some experimentation, do things that don't scale at the beginning and figure out, how are you going to win and what's your creator market fit going to be. But once you understand that, know what your creator model is and then have the courage to say no to people that don't fit that. We see so many brands that, hey, like I can, send people monthly $100 credits or, this, that, this is what the arrangement, it's going to be a 10% commission and you're going to get access to these products and you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Like they know that's their model, but then they see somebody they kind of like and, that influencer or creator negotiates a little bit harder and they'll make an exception for it. And the problem is when you make those exceptions, the bandwidth that costs your team is going to be, at the expense of, 10 to potentially 100 creators that would have just said yes to the model. And so the biggest mistake we see with scale is, understand your model, have confidence that people are going to, benefit a lot from your model. And you've got something that works for both sides, and then just pursue people that, agree with your model and are excited about your model. Because the more exceptions you create, the harder it's going to be to manage and ultimately, put up big numbers with your program. So those are the two most common things that we see as mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, talking about scalability, like consistency and like how you pay your creators and how you manage those relationships, I could see coming into play and being really, really important for that. But I wanted to add on something to what you said about letting the influencer create their own content and not giving them too many guidelines. Like you said, they know their audience so extremely well, but also their audience knows them very, very well, right? They're going to sniff out that it's an ad and that it was all staged, and that's not going to help your sales. I mean, everyone knows when they're watching a creator like that they're promoting products, but as the viewer, you like to think that there's a lot of alignment and they're just pushing it because it's something they actually believe in. But the second they go out of how they normally would approach, product placement and talking about this new thing, if it doesn't feel natural, it's going to flop.
Exactly right. There are exceptions. If you're a supplements brand and you've got FDA or whatever requirements, you might have to maintain more control over the actual message.
Right,
so there's going to be exceptions like that. And there's going to be exceptions where, let's say if you got off your first principles of I'm going to find creators that are super aligned with the brand. If you don't know these people, you might have to exert more. You're doing a short-term campaign and you're going for a lot of awareness. You might have to exert, more control over what they're going to say because they don't understand your brand very well and they're not going to represent it well. But if you, find the right creators and kind of build your program from the correct first principles, less is almost always more in terms of, guidance and stuff like that.